Oh, hello. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm still trying to set up my camera. Are you looking to impress your loved one this Valentine's Day? Well, look no further. We are going to make strawberry chocolate scones. Why, you may ask? One, scones are cool, chocolate's cool, and strawberries are cool. Also, you know, Valentine's Day, chocolate, strawberries, and right now my man's out of town, and he doesn't really like fruit, so I'm making these for myself. Alright, so it all starts by preheating your oven to 400. This is like a come along and cook with me. And then you're gonna need parchment paper so it doesn't stick, though I will say these things tend to be fine. Alright everyone, place your bets now. Will the camera fall into the bowl during this making procedure? We will find out. Alright, first you want to mix all your dry ingredients together. To start, that's going to be 2.5 cups of flour and then 2 tablespoons, the bigger one, 2 tablespoons of sugar. And so we're basically going to mix this all together into a nice powder. Next we have half a teaspoon of baking powder, which is going to be difficult because I haven't opened this very much yet. So it's half a teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon baking soda. And then we have 2 teaspoons of baking powder, right? And I'm only using a half and I'm reusing it, so that means I'll have to use 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. And then we need a half a teaspoon of salt. And put that right in. I'm just gonna mix it around. They say whisk, but this works just as well. Just get the air, get everything incorporated, nice and mixed. You don't want big chunks of salt or big chunks of baking soda or even big chunks of flour that don't have the other necessary ingredients. So we mix with joy and bewilderment. Next up is 1 cup of buttermilk. If you're not a coward, just use regular milk. I'm using Fairlife because I like using expensive milk, I guess. I spilled it and it's on camera, of course it is. Now everyone thinks I don't know what I'm doing because I'm messy, but I do know what I'm doing. I took culinary classes in France. I'm just a problem, naturally. Hold on, I'll clean that up. Video magic. Clean enough for now. Next up, egg. Egg? Egg for you? You like egg? Anyway, egg, it goes straight into the milk. And we're gonna mix it into that. And then you have to whisk this together, right? And for this, I'm just gonna use a fork. Pretty straightforward. Something I've discovered is not everybody has a whisking technique. I'm kind of a flick of the wrist kind of whisker. But, you know, not everyone's whisked stuff before. It's nice to do something small, like just incorporate eggs into milk to start. I have a friend, and first time he ever whisked anything, I made him whisk by hand egg whites to meringue. He did it. He's a bit of a gym bro, so that's why he was able to do it, but that was funny. There we go. So that's separate. We're going to put it separate for now. Alright, so now we've reached the scony part of this recipe, and that is controlling the butter. So I use cold butter straight out of the fridge. Oh, you can see my UGG shoes. These are brand new. Bought them for myself because my toes are messed up. Anyway, you want to cube this beforehand to make it easier on you, especially if you don't have like a pastry blender, which I do not have, because if I do, I don't know where it is. So you just want to cut it up a little bit smaller to make the whole blending process easier. You know, it's cold butter. It's not like crazy hard to cut, you know. But you just kind of want them in like little cubes to make it easier. Or little pieces if you want to be exact here. These aren't really cubes, but to make it easier to pastry blend the butter, which I will show you how to do momentarily after I cut this up. Alright, so we take the butter that's been cut up kind of haphazardly, but we live like that. The oven is get done. Usually, I always have this problem. All right, so here's the technique. If you don't have the pastry blender, which I do not have, we'll be using knives. Yeah, you can see. And you just kind of go like this for like all eternity. All right. And I think this is the part that really freaks people out about making scones, is cutting up all the butter in here. And yeah, no, it's definitely like a pain in the butt, especially if you don't have a pastry blender, which is like $10, and I could very easily get one. And this is not the first time I've made scones, so really the cost-benefit analysis of that is pretty in my favor. But so basically you just kind of do this, target the bigger pieces of butter when you see them, right? And this is just how you incorporate the butter into the flour. You want it to be pretty incorporated. I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me do it for the next 10 minutes, or however long this ends up taking. But just kind of, you see the basics, I think. So yeah, I'll stop and then you'll see what it looks like when I'm done. All right, that's pretty mixed. Could be better, could be worse. Fresh strawberries. Fresh strawberries are cool. If you can't do fresh and you have frozen, those work as well, but I like doing fresh because you can get them pretty cheap sometimes. And then so we're gonna wash these and cut them up. JK, I realized I should finish the dough first. So this is like good enough. Is it great? No, but since the recipe we're using is adding extra moisture, in the sense that there will be strawberries in it, and extra fat, because I'm not using buttermilk and I'm using chocolate, it'll be all right. All right, so then what we do is we add the buttermilk, and we're supposed to mix this now with a spoon. So the things that wish they were pastry blenders are gonna go, and we're gonna mix it with this. So pour that in. Delicious, I guess. Some eggs still in there. That's not great. But anyway, so then we mix this. And try not to make a huge mess because there's no one else here, and whatever mess I make, I'm cleaning up. So you don't want to overmix this dough. You don't want to undermix it either. But you can see it's a pretty thick dough. Right? Because scones are a pastry that's pretty close to bread. It's part of the reason I like them, because I like bread. You know, and they're not overly sweet like a lot of other pastry comparatives. Alright, so you just want to get all the flour in there, and because my bowl's weird shaped, it always ends up at the bottom like that. This is just like watch my hands mix things, the TV show. I'm too lazy to move the camera and show you my other angles. I have one cell phone. Nobody saw nothing. Nothing popped out. See how it's kind of crumbly? Like it's not like, you know, that's a good texture. That's the kind of texture we're looking for. The thing about this that's kind of difficult is when you do come to the point where you're mixing in the strawberries, which we will be coming up to, this dough is so thick, it can like crush the strawberries. So keeping the integrity of the strawberries is going to be a more challenging aspect of this that we will get to once I finish cutting up the strawberries. And there we go, scone dough. Is it perfect? No. Is it good enough? Yes. I keep teasing with the strawberries. They go in last. I don't know why I keep being like, oh, it's time to prep the strawberries. Next, half cup of chocolate chips. Since these are solid, they mix in really well. And they do not, I don't have to worry about the chocolate chips getting crushed in this room temperature cold-ish. Actually, it is a cold dough. It is a cold dough. So this is like a good way to make sure there is at least some flavor in all aspects of the scone. Because the chocolate chips mix in very easily and very well. Which is another great part about this recipe that I got from joecooks.com. Thank you, Joe. Alright. Next, you put in about 1 cup of chopped up strawberries. So I'm just gonna do that with magic. Alright, as you see, we got just a couple in the batter. I'm gonna do a early mix, trying to incorporate them and not get them crushed. Basically just create a new layer of where the strawberries can go. This is probably the hardest part of this recipe, is getting the strawberries in here without like destroying them and making it so you don't get the nice pockets of strawberry. All right, good try. All right, so we're starting to see what I consider a sufficient number of strawberries to dough ratio. Is it perfect? I don't know, but it's how I like it. And so, you know, some will have more chocolate than others, some will have more strawberry than others. That is the nature of something being homemade and not made in a factory. I am not a factory. I am just a lazy person who wants to make something nice for myself. And that's an important note here. I'm going to probably title this video, you know, how to impress your loved ones this Valentine's Day, to try to get some clicks, but, you know, make this for yourself. It's kind of cool. Ta-da! Hi there, thanks for sticking around. So, this recipe calls for what would be, like, considered, like, a reef-shaped scone, where you make, like, a arch. And I've done that before, and personally, I find them kind of annoying to separate, and, like, you have to, like, cut them with flour to get them to separate properly. So I think this time I'm going to try to do drop scones, where you just take a chunk and you, right? And you, like, make them in little, like, almost cookies, but bigger, but they're, like, kind of roundish. So I'm going to try that technique instead, even though this recipe recommends doing something different. So if it doesn't turn out, that's probably why. But I just think they'll be kind of cute in things, and I might try to shape them into hearts. Experimentation. Alright, so we lined a obnoxiously large pan for with parchment, and I'm going to put a little flour on it to really just overdo it. The reason I'm using a pan with these lips here is because last time I made these, I had what they call in baking, I don't know the technical term. If you know the technical term, tell me, but I think the technical term is pissing butter. So when the butter kind of leaks out, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, especially with scones, because it just makes sure everything's nice and buttery and it makes the bottom kind of nice. But I just want to let you know so you don't accidentally, like, put butter in the bottom of your oven and it catches fire. Butter catches fire really easy, so we're going to plop these now. I'm going to just use a half-cup scoop that I was using earlier, and I'm just going to... I see why they don't advise this. This is not as easy as I thought it would be. Okay, I need to innovate. Innovate, overcome. Shaping these into hearts is out of the question. There is absolutely no shot. Will I probably try anyway after I get them all plopped? Yes. Right? So that will become a scone. Ideally. So I'm going to do the rest of them. And then for you, it'll be like 2 seconds. Alright, there we go. Everything looks alright, I guess. Now I'm going to try something that can only be described as dumb. I'm going to try to shape these as hearts. See if we can pull that off. If we can, more power to us. I mean, that's not bad. Alright? Just gotta pinch and push. I don't know. That could be worse. Alright, I'm gonna shape them all as hearts. It's gonna be a sticky process. Alright, so I've developed a technique. So I'm gonna show you just in case you want to also make them. Step 1, kind of make it a ball, flatten it, make it a ball, flatten it, and then pinch. And then make sure this finger is very floured. And then push that in. Alright? And kind of pinch it, separate it, and then I'm gonna put that on top here actually, and then you just kind of hope and dream until when you look down you can convince yourself it's a heart. Alright? Alright. That looks good enough to me. Okay? So that's our technique. Is it a technique? Depends. Will it hold shape? I have no idea. It kind of depends. Scones in general are pretty structural. That's pretty good. This one's kind of forming nice. Some of them form really naturally and others really don't, just because of the nature of it being like chunky and butter and all that kind of shit. So we have hearts. How cute. Oh wait, you can't really tell. Let me turn it around. Hold on. Let me wash my hands first. Because my hands are disgusting. And by disgusting, I mean delicious. It's covered with yummy, delicious scone, but hearts. What do you think? I'll probably have to like give these to my neighbors or something, so I feel like it had a purpose. Alright, but now that that's done, I think we're at the part where we put them in the oven. Can sprinkle with sugar. I kind of, and this is just something I didn't mention, I kind of put some strawberries to the side to make sure there was some on top, because I think they look cuter that way. And yeah, we're just going to put these in the oven. They're going to bake for 25 to 30 minutes. So, All right, what do you think? Do you think they're gonna turn out? I'm not sure. I'm feeling pretty confident about the shape, but I think they might just fall apart in there. But when you make it into the reef, it usually stays reef shaped. I'm just thinking the heart shape might be a little bit too tight, but I don't know. We'll find out. See you in 25 to 30 minutes, and for you, like 10 seconds. Okay, we're going. Sorry you missed me taking it out. It was because I went to check it and they were done and starting to burn. So 25 minutes is definitely on the high side. I'm a little worried that they're going to be burnt because they're looking a little burnt. But I'm going to bring them to show you. Ta-da! Heart-shaped scones. But they lost most of their shape in the oven. But you know what? We live like that. Not so much what they call the butter piss today. Mostly dry. I'll eat one in a bit. Good, and it's starting. Hello. So I took the one that looked the most burnt. I'm gonna bring it so you can see. See how the bottom's just kind of got like burnt little bits on it. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's just burnt sugar and it'll be okay. But I'm gonna try it, see how it is. Wish me luck. I got like no bits. I just got scone. Scone's okay. Still tastes pretty good. So, not total failure. Scone for you. Special. Just for you. There you go. Yum yum.